of demands that the Gen Z had said. One of them was IEBC, and he said that he was going to reconstitute the IEBC, and that was supposed even to happen after a few weeks. To this very moment, hatujaona matokeo kama hayo, and it is time for the country to start deeply interrogating itself. I think we have done enough talking on the spaces. We have done everything. We have talked about good governance. We have talked about transparency. We have talked about everything. But one thing is clear. We are talking to a bunch of I don't know if I can describe them as fools or what, but we are talking to a constitute of people who have turned a deaf ear. And they have done this very deliberately because they have been assured of immunity. Many of them are looting the country because they are very sure nothing will happen to them. So it has been left, it is mimi na wewe. And that was very clear yesterday. You know, yesterday happenings at Bunge, somebody from somewhere can dismiss it and say, Gachagua alikuwa anakuwa nailed. That one is okay. I'm one of the individuals who do not subscribe to Gachagua's thought of schools, ideologies, and everything. But we should be very careful and we should learn from Gachagua. What William Ruto is doing, and he is doing it deliberately, he is testing the constitution of Kenya. William Ruto knows very deeply that he has defied, he has disrespected, he has mutilated the constitution numerous times. And that one warrants an impeachment motion against a president. Anybody can do that. But because we have a parliament that is a stooge of the executive, an extension arm of the executive, then we find ourselves in an interesting period in our country. A period where there is a clamor for hope. Everybody is desperate for leadership. As we talk at the moment, William Ruto, through his cohorts, through his agents, they have managed to infiltrate and even confuse the movement that once threatened his leadership. But what next? Because everybody is thinking that reconstruction or reconstitution of the IBC is the solution. I can assure you that already William Ruto has a game plan beyond that. And that one played yesterday. William Ruto objective is to extend power. And I know some will ask me, how is William Ruto going to extend power? William Ruto is looking beyond there. And I want people to look William Ruto not only ahead of a republic called Kenya, but William Ruto is an international cartel representing very big interest in the Europe. William Ruto is not your ordinary politician right now. So it will take a lot of a sacrifice, like one of them has said, I think it is Jolam. It will take a lot of sacrifice. This is not any kind of play. The kind of play yenye unaona watu wanaenda huko wanapata fame, and then you get confused in the fame. I don't subscribe. I don't know why people, and that's why kuna wakati watu wanakuwa na hope. I'll be very direct. When people had, and I think still have some of them, a lot of hope in Morara. But Morara is treading in a ground that he is not so familiar with. And that's why you see the likes of even Raila Odinga can easily reach out to individuals called Caswell and easily embrace them, because they have been in this game for quite some time. Our unity will be tested. Don't let somebody not lie to you. Our unity will be tested. This government has looted enough to compromise the entire opposition, to compromise the entire institution, and to compromise everything. Even what happened in Parliament yesterday is a reflection of what extent William Ruto can do. As Gachagua sits down to pray and hope maybe any of the institution can exonerate him, the likelihood of that happening is a big no. want to miss this point. I would want to address my good friends from the lake, because the lake has also nurtured me. I've stayed in the lake, I've worked in the lake, a very good environment. I've studied in Western, my good friends from the Luya land. The leaders coming from this region that want to salivate for those positions, I want to remind you, William Ruto is a good student of Moi. He knows what it means to use and dump. He has done it with Gachagua. You remember well, he used Gachagua very well to push his narrative in the mountain. And now that William Ruto has new friends whom they helped him to salvage his government. Wale ambao walimwambia, because the language today by the ODM fraternity is, we helped you when GNZ were taking over your government. And that's why unaona wanaendea viti vile wanajisikia. Even when Morara was being attacked at Bomas, Morara was not attacked by government. He was attacked by ODM, who currently sit at the table, and they want to sit at the negotiating table, auctioning you and me. The people of Nyanza should realize that Raila Odinga stopped representing the people long time ago. And it pains me to see a young individual like Kasmuel being blacked. You can imagine, I don't know how low Kasmuel sank, to an extent that it took this goon from Embakasi, anaitwa nani mwenye alimpeleka kwa Raila office, a certain guy that was making a lot of more noise in Jacaranda, called Gaucho. The name has come. It is Gaucho who came to take Kasmuel to Raila office. And Raila is deliberately doing this. And Raila is doing this because Raila was not happy when GNZ went to the street to fight for a new Kenya. Because Raila, in his own beliefs, he believes that he was the one supposed to do that. And because a new constituency in this country was born, called the GNZ and everybody, Raila was not happy. And that's why he is able to come to government, negotiate with RUTO, and so that RUTO can extend power. Let me put it to you this one. As we talk today, RUTO is planning to extend power. Hata sahi tukisema tunataka, yes, we can talk about IEBC, but already RUTO is delaying the reconstitution of the IEBC deliberately. Why has ODM not talked about IEBC? Do you think it is by coincidence? No. Why is Raila in the country silently? Kazi yake siku hizi hata ongei very silently. This is a game plan that imefanywa. And it is unfortunate that even after the killings, the quarry and everything, hakuna kiongozi ambaye ameamuka kuongelea haya mambo. Kwa sababu William Ruto mahali penye yako, he believes that he draws his power from wabunge na viongozi. There is a motion that is about to be introduced in parliament extending the term limit of the president. When you see William Ruto dismiss that as just a dismissal, he is testing waters. He is testing your patience, mimi na wewe. Na hii ni kitu itakuja kufanyika. Somebody might ask, aje, you saw the wabunge and their behavior yesterday. They don't care about your opinion. William Ruto has made them believe they don't draw power from the people. When we know very well, mimi na wewe, we go to elect people at the ballot so that they can represent us, because that one is very clear in Article 1 of our constitution. But William Ruto amebadilisha, ameonesha hawa bunge ya kwamba mimi ama tukikaa kwa hii nyumba tunaweza jiamulia. And wabunge will gladly do that, because your MCA back at home, once this motion sails through, he is assured of a new term. Because this new term will extend 7 years to both an MCA, to a sitting member of parliament, to a governor, to everybody. Kwa nini hawa viongozi wasisikie William Ruto wakose kutusikia sisi? Because the roadmap is very clear on the game plan yenye imepangwa. As Rigiji is being haunted out of office, Rigiji is being sacrificed politically to allocate that space for somebody else from another tribe. And that's why, as I talk today, I want to remind the Luos and my good friends, the Luya, because that is the likelihood of where that seat might land. The Luyas, tomorrow once William Ruto achieves his objective, he will come to Luya land and tell you now we have the Maragolis, we have the Bukusus and everything. He will drive an edge between Mudavadi and Wetangula, who today sit very pretty in this government because they have been allocated the 30%. That is how William Ruto works. William Ruto was very desperate for Nyanza because he was not able to penetrate Nyanza because of Raila Odinga. Today, Raila Odinga is sitting pretty in government. Tell me how it will be impossible for the Luos to go to government if today he is planning even to give them the deputy president seat. It goes now back to what Nyalom was saying. Our politics still revolves around tribe. And that one, whether we like it or not, it will always play out. Today, the mountain people are very angry. And they are angry. I don't know why they are angry. They come from the mountain. Because this is a prophecy that they were told. Uhuru Kenyatta had sat down and had worked with Raila Omolo Odinga, and he had worked with William Ruto. He knew the safe pair of hands, where they were going to be safe, where their investment were going to be safe. The people of Mountain forgot that William Ruto went to a platform one time and said, his problem, the biggest problem of Wakale are the Kikuyus. He went to a platform and said that. And he finished by saying, the only way to counter the Kikuyus is, first of all, you seek power. And then after seeking power, you do the rest. I don't know why the mountain people are very surprised by this. Because it is something that had been predicted, and it is something that William Ruto decided to do. Today we are discussing the impeachment when a member of parliament set the tone for the country. Oscar Sudi only appears to parliament once or twice in a year to execute some funny motion. And it is unfortunate, a country that is composed of learned people, somebody who has never stepped in a class sets the motion for the country. This administration is run, William Ruto hires experts, he hires advisors, but instead he is advised by dunderheads to do what he can do. Sudi said he tweeted something funny and said, give us 2 weeks. Can you imagine the amount of energy this country has spent on Rigigi's impeachment? That is a motion set by a member of parliament who will only appear at a particular time. We are in a crisis, our people. And if we are not going to let history teach us, because if you are a good student of history, whether young or old, you will realize where William Ruto is taking this country. If we had adhered to our constitution, if our courts were very serious, if the institutions of these countries were meant to work, William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta would not have found themselves into the battle. And today Kenyans are carrying a burden courtesy of Uhuru Ruto administration, and now we are carrying another burden of William Ruto presidency. As I wish you well, my people, I would want to remind you every day that revolution is not an event. It's not a one-day event. Revolution will come and it will test your integrity, your character, and everything. This administration, like I've said, it has stolen enough. Even Morara is not immune to that. He can still be compromised. Even everybody can still be compromised. People will come to your midst and purport to be your leaders, but they will be working behind the system. Be very careful, Kenyans, because William Ruto represents a very large constituency composed of powers from both the West and the East. And William Ruto is only interested in his empire which is accumulating more wealth and wealth. The other day he told you he belongs to a son of a peasant, he comes from the dustbin, and the dynasty is fighting him because he is a son of a poor man. Today, William Ruto is not the poor man he told you. In fact, he is worth billions, and every day we are told he is buying Boeings and aeroplanes to continue flourishing his empire. As I learned, lastly, and this is very important, I've said to my brothers, the Luo, and my brothers, the Luyas, do not be deceived by your leaders. A very good friends of mine from the Lake region and very good minds from Western region, they still believe Kenya needs to be liberated. In Western, there is a governor who bought wheelbarrows worth 100 million, one wheelbarrow. He went out of office and came back. The other day, he had a Madaraka Day in his constituency, and he even said, just for beautification purposes of the Kiwanja, he used more than 33 million. Kuweka tu maua, na hivi. And that is the same governor that was called to the Senate because of having more than 200 accounts. You can see the amount of money that are being siphoned in our counties. Today, as we continue talking here, governors allied to UDA are busy looting the counties, channeling part of the loot to their party headquarters, and others going back to their bosses. ODM governors are busy stealing ODM counties, eventually surrendering those monies and proceeds of corruption to their boss, one Jacom. You should ask yourself, who is for us in this country? It is our unity. The only thing that is remaining between Mimi and Wewe, it is our unity. And if our unity is tested by stupid things like money, we will never liberate this country. So sit down there and ask yourself, will you be for the movement if these spaces are not there? Will you still come and fight for Kenya? Because there is a funny bill that is yet to be introduced in parliament to censor even these spaces. The question is, will you still be there to call for accountability? Will you still be there to fight for your Kenya? That is the question. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much once again. That is Ras G. He has been telling you that a revolution is not a one-day event. It requires sacrifice. It requires more days, weeks, and weeks turn into months, and months turns into years. And years turns into what? Decade, if you want to call it so. And he was reminding you once again, be careful, my countrymen, that is me and you, my brother and sisters. And he just want to you told us that unity is one way for us. We must unite, we must be one. And he just ended his talk by saying telling us that will you be there? Will you still be there or no or not? So allow me to go to the next person, and this person is who? This is who Fabi's. Please, if you are still here.